Hi, this is a mini course called Create a Podcast Mission Statement. And as a way of introduction, lots of people talk about wanting to start a podcast and they get a little hung up on, and it's not just everybody else. I did it in the past when I wanted to start a podcast. We get hung up on the processes and the equipment. And I've been talking to a lot of people lately who they want to start, but they have different aspects of the start to launch process that they don't understand. And I thought I'd break down my podcast launch course into bite-sized steps so that you can pick and choose where you need help and just take a mini course. So I'm going to start with the podcast mission statement because I believe it's the most important part of starting a podcast. And you may think it's a waste of time because, not a lot of people talk about mission statement for your podcast, but you will find that it provides a blueprint for your show. And so let's get to it. As a way of introduction, my name is J. Rosemary Francis. I'm the creator and host of three podcasts: Tools of the Podcast Trade, Solo Moms Talk, and Abandoned Daughters of Caribbean Moms. I'm also a blogger and writer and a podcast coach and mentor. So, why a podcast mission statement? My top three reasons for creating a podcast mission statement is that one, it clarifies the purpose and direction of your podcast. A mission statement provides a clear understanding of your podcast core purpose, helping you to stay focused on your goals and to ensure your content aligns with your podcast vision and keeps your messaging consistent over time. Second reason is that it creating a podcast mission statement attracts the right audience. It allows your podcast to attract the right audience. A well crafted mission statement helps potential listen immediately understands what your podcast is about and why it matters to them. This attracts the right audience who your content resonates with and foster a loyal listener base. And third, it guides decision making for your show. So, whether it's selecting guests, choosing topics, or creating marketing strategies, a mission statement acts as a guiding principle. It helps you make decisions that align with your podcast values and objectives and ensuring long time success. So, how do you craft that mission statement? What process do you use to craft a mission statement? You start simply by selecting three questions. Number one, what is your podcast about? What do you want to talk about? What's your topic? The second question is, who is your target audience or your IPA, your ideal podcast avatar? Who is that one person whose problem you want to solve? You want your podcast to solve. It's not a million people or 1,000 people, it's just one person you'll be talking to. That person could be you, or it could be somebody you know, but it's one person, your ideal podcast avatar. John Lee Dumas talks about this a lot, and he actually outlines that who that person is. I also have a giveaway. I guess it's a free download that you could download to see how you could design your ideal podcast avatar. And I will have a mini course on that as well. And the third question you'll ask yourself while you're third question you ask yourself that will help you to craft a compelling mission statement is your why. Why do you want to start a podcast? Why do you want to start it? For the people, for the person you want to start it for. Why do you want to start this podcast? And to answer the questions, I thought that I would create a sample mission statement to see how useful this exercise could be, this mini course. And so I came up with this idea of photography, taking photographs with your smartphone. And I came up with this. So, what is your podcast about? Is Natural Take Podcast is dedicated to helping amateur photographers capture stunning nature photos using only their smartphones. And who is the podcast for? Our podcast is for beginner and hobbyist photographers who love exploring the outdoors and want to improve their phone photographer skill. See what I did there? And why am I starting this podcast? And sorry, as a passionate nature photographer, I've honed techniques for capturing unique and breathtaking images with my phone. After receiving many requests for tips and advice, I decided to share my knowledge through this podcast to help others discover the joy of creating beautiful nature photos with minimal equipment. That's a podcast you could start if you have any interest. Go ahead, take the idea, I don't care. So, what are the benefits of a mission statement? By answering these questions, the what, the who, and the why, you will you will not only be able to start a podcast quickly, but it will help you to create meaningful content that resonates with your audience. It will also assist you, it will greatly assist you in establishing your brand, your colors, your identity, your color scheme, the name for your podcast. So you can see what I did there with coming up with the idea of for nature photography with your smartphone. I just picked that name out of the air, and the idea came to me while I was trying to do my mission statement on that podcast idea. And then the third one, I like to do things in three. I don't know why. But anyway, remind the podcast mission statement reminds you of your why. And this, I think, is the most important one, because when you feel like giving up, when you get to that stage when you're overwhelmed, you want to give up because you're not getting the millions of downloads you anticipating. It's frustrating. It's a lot of work, just different things. A mission statement will help you remember why when you feel like giving up. So I hope that helps you craft your mission statement and the reason why you craft your mission statement. I also have a free download, which is a workbook that you would help you to work through crafting your own mission statement. If and it will help you just get in the weeds of how to start your podcast, not other podcasts, but the one you want. And so that's a free download that's available, a workbook that you could work through. These are also my contact. If you want to contact me, feel free to do so. If you want me to have a look at your mission statement after you've created it, I'll gladly do so. I don't charge. I just take pleasure in seeing someone start their podcast or win something. I have a win, when it comes to podcasting because I really love it. Thank you for going through this short mini course with me, and stay tuned for the next one. I'm not sure what the next one will be, but maybe it will be the IPA. So stay tuned for the next mini course. Thank you.